What's going on, slave tards? Today I want to do a video about how guilty Trump looks in this whole Epstein thing. You know, I'm watching this whole Epstein thing, and all of a sudden Trump, who campaigned on releasing these files and being transparent to the American people, is all of a sudden shutting down any further inquiry into the Epstein files, right? Like, you have Trump, who's getting obviously irritated and mad when people keep asking questions about it, and he's saying some of the most incriminating and guilty looking things I've ever seen out of anybody in my entire life. Like, what's the big deal? Why would you want to know about more rich and powerful people that are pedophiles? Why would you want to put those people away? What's the big conspiracy theory? You know, like, oh, it's made up by Obama and the Clintons and Biden, and just like pointing fingers all the while. There's all these pictures of him with Epstein partying, you know, and like chasing women and all kinds of stuff. And there's all this, you know, evidence of him being, you know, best pals with Epstein for years. And like, you know, now the Wall Street Journal comes out with an article about some body like letter he sent to Epstein for his birthday, right? And it's obvious to anybody that has a brain that Trump is looking very, very guilty here, right? He's acting very, very guilty. The way he's handling this looks like he's involved, right? And so the MAGA base and all his supporters are starting to, like, you know, defect and get irate at the way he's treating them. And he just doubled down on it, right? He just doubles down on it. Because let's be real, right? He can't be president again. This is his last hurrah. So, you know, he doesn't care, right? He doesn't care if he pisses off his base. It's not like you're going to reelect him anymore, you know? Trump cares about nobody but Trump. Yeah. And I voted for him. And I voted for him because I thought the alternative was worse. But I think I would rather have a ditzy liberal in the White House than an you know, egomaniac psychopath like Trump is, right? Like, all he ever says is, oh, I'm the greatest. This is the greatest administration. We have the greatest country ever now, you know. If you go to the grocery store, hold on. Something's going on with my, oh, there it goes. If you go to the grocery store, every time I go, the prices go up. Like every time I go, right? They're saying inflation is coming down, but when, you know, the numbers come out on CNBC, inflation is starting to pick up again. And every single time I go, like I eat better now than I ever did in my entire life because, you know, I've learned that the most delicious foods, I think, are the cheapest foods. Like, I love sweet potatoes. I love fruits and vegetables, apples, and, you know, I love cooking peppers with onions and like Brussels sprouts and you know, broccoli. I love all that stuff. Like, I like eating it, you know. So the best foods for you in your health are fruits and vegetables. They're also the most inexpensive foods, but I noticed they just keep going up. Everything keeps going up, even the inexpensive foods. Right? I go and I look at meat, and every single time I go, one thing that I eat a lot of is, I like beef, but that's unattainable for the average guy now, you know. Who can pay $15 a pound or whatever it is for a steak now? I do every once in a while, but it's like a treat. Ground beef is ridiculous. Sometimes I'll get some and make a burger or something like that, but most of the time I stick to like chicken thighs. And I remember when I was in my apartment after my divorce in 2020, chicken thighs were like $1.99 a pound at Walmart, like boneless, skinless chicken thighs. And now they're like $3.30 a pound. I mean, it's in a few years, it's almost doubled in price, and it just keeps going up. Every time I go up, 10 cents here, 20 cents a pound. I'm one of these guys when I know the prices of everything that I buy in the grocery store. So when they go up, I notice immediately. I'm like, that used to be $2.22. Now it's, $2.55. That used to be whatever. And it's like almost every week it's going up. Like every other month, prices are going up on everything, not just some things, everything, right? Except for silver. Let's just put out that. If you own silver bullion, that price ain't going up, Not like it should be, Gold is at like 3,400 and silver is at 38. So ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, Something that comes out of the ground, at 10x the time of gold is gold is worth 100x. This like blows my mind. But anyway, not to get off subject. So Trump brags all the time about this being the greatest, but it's not the greatest, right? There's nothing that Trump can do about the debt and deficits. Not only that, he's doubling down on them with this big, beautiful bill and adding $4 or $5 trillion to the budget, right? I mean, we already have 35, 36, I don't even know how many trillions of debt now. So much that they're starting to have problems in the bond market with demand. I mean, who's going to buy all this debt, And that's why it's getting really, really scary. And that's why there's nothing Trump can do, right? There's nothing he can do. All he does is put smoke and mirrors up there and pound his chest. Meanwhile, people are asking themselves, do we have a pedophile in the White House? That's what I'm asking. I just come out and say it. That's what I want to know. I want to know if these co-conspiracies, so here's the thing. Trump's like, oh, the guy's dead. He's been dead for 5 years. Why do y'all care about this, hoax or whatever? So first of all, Donald Trump, we know that Epstein was not a hoax, right? It's a fact. We know he had an island. We know he abused thousands of women, some of them underage. We know this as a fact. He was convicted of it, right? His cohort, that girl who set up all the women for him, she's in jail now. We know for a fact. We also know for a fact that Prince Andrew, some of the royal family was involved, right? At least one of them was involved, right? We know from the victims of Epstein that there were co-conspirators, right? We know these women who said they're abused by other people other than just Jeffrey Epstein. So it's not a hoax. Everybody knows it's a hoax. And for Trump to come out and act the way he's coming, it's a slap in the face, right? It's a slap in the face to our own intelligence. Don't insult our intelligence. The president of the United States is insulting the country's intelligence. We're not stupid. We know there were other people involved. We know Bill Gates was palling around with them. We know other very prominent billionaire political class were probably involved, I mean, I think it's well known that Bill Clinton flew on the Lolita Express or whatever to one of his islands. So, we know there's more there. And for Trump to come out and say, well, why do you care about this? Why do you care about rich and, powerful pedophiles? Why would you care about that? We care because it's important, right? We already know our country is run by scumbags. We know you got to be a greaseball to get into office. We know that the richest and most powerful people in the world who own all the wealth and get richer and richer, and we get poorer and poorer. I mean, I was watching this video the other day about the percentage of income, of your income in like 1980, 1990, 2000, 2010, and in 2020 that it took to afford basic housing, rent, or a mortgage, right? And the boomers had it great, even with high interest rates. They were like 19% of their income was on housing. Now it's like 36% for us. It's so in your face how the standard of living and the cost of living in America is going down a tube, and it's starting to quicken, right? It's starting to pick up. It's starting to get worse and worse and worse, right? But none of that's going to change, right? None of that's going to change because it's past the point where no return now. So Trump is presiding over an unwinnable situation, and he's also breaking his promises to his supporters and his voters to be transparent about some of the things the government has hidden from the people, right? What I don't understand about our U.S. government is they are supposed to be for the people, by the people, right? They're supposed to be for us. There shouldn't be anything that is withheld from the American people unless it has national security implications. Epstein does not have national security implications, right? Epstein has nothing to do with national security. Neither does the MLK or JFK assassinations, right? So the fact that our deep state and our government aren't by us and aren't for us is starting to be in the face of the American people. Peace.